The house smelled like artificial vanilla the moment I walked in, that overly sweet scent from the plug-in air freshener she always kept by the hallway. It hit me harder than usual, maybe because I wasn't supposed to be there yet. No reason, no emergency, just one of those rare days when traffic wasn't a nightmare and my boss told me to head out early. I didn't text her. Thought I'd surprise her. As soon as I stepped through the door, I heard music thumping from the kitchen, some pop remix with a bass line that shook the walls. I froze halfway through the entryway. Melissa never played music like that unless she was drunk or cleaning, and neither of those made sense. It was a Thursday. Not a weekend, not a holiday. It immediately felt off. I moved slowly, dropping my keys on the side table without the usual jingle, almost like I knew I was walking into something I wasn't supposed to see. The hallway stretched longer than usual, every step dragging a sense of dread behind it. I turned the corner into the kitchen, and there she was, dancing. Not dancing for fun, not the silly wine-fueled kind of dancing we used to do together while cooking dinner. This was different. Her back was to me, hips swaying in a way that wasn't casual. She was wearing a top that barely qualified as a shirt, hair done up, makeup perfect, and her phone was propped up against the coffee jar with a front-facing camera recording. She hadn't seen me yet. I stood there for maybe 5 seconds longer than I should have, trying to make sense of what I was looking at. Then I said her name. Melissa. She flinched. Not because she was startled, but because she got caught. Her eyes did that fast calculation thing, the kind where you could practically see the excuses loading behind them. She picked up the phone, quickly locked the screen, then turned toward me with this half-forced smile. "Oh my God, you're home early," she said, like I'd done something wrong. I didn't say a word. Just looked at her. Really looked at her. Her lip gloss was still shiny, like it had just been applied. Her eyeliner was sharp, her hair curled just right. This wasn't a bored wife playing on TikTok. This was someone who got dressed for someone else. "Who were you filming that for?" I asked. She blinked, then laughed it off. "Jenna dared me to record something stupid earlier. I didn't even send it." She used that tone, the one that makes you feel like you're the crazy one, like you're insecure for even noticing something feels off. That tone that says you're the problem for asking. But deep down, I already knew. There's this feeling, like a coil tightening low in your gut when something's wrong. Like your body figures it out before your brain does. That's where I was, frozen in place, trying to push away what I already understood. I didn't argue. Didn't accuse. I just walked past her, needing some air, or space, or maybe proof. I wasn't even sure what I was hoping to find. My feet carried me to the living room before my thoughts could catch up. That's when I saw it. Her phone lit up on the counter. She hadn't picked it up yet, probably forgot in the rush to spin her lie. And right there on the screen, a preview popped up. That ass in my hoodie. Damn. Lucky me tonight. My throat went dry. I picked up the phone, still unlocked, and opened the thread. I shouldn't have, I know. But my fingers moved like they had a mind of their own. Scrolling through the messages felt like dragging my heart across broken glass. Photos. Her in that same hoodie, my hoodie, posing in the mirror. Captions like, "Think of me later." And videos I couldn't bring myself to watch. I dropped the phone on the counter like it burned me. She didn't even flinch. She just stood in the doorway, arms crossed, annoyed. Like I was the one invading her space. "So now you're spying on me," she said, all attitude, no shame. There was no apology. No panic. Just that same dismissive tone. "I kissed his friend at that party, remember?" she added, like it was casual. "In front of everyone. Your face was priceless. I did it to impress them." That hit like a punch. I remembered the rooftop party, the laughter, the moment she leaned into Kyle. I had buried it. Told myself it didn't mean what I thought it meant. She said she was drunk. Said it didn't matter. I bought it. Like a fool. She kept talking, stuff about how I never challenged her, how I stopped being fun, how I was too soft. It wasn't even anger I felt at that point. It was worse. It was like gravity had flipped and I didn't know which way was up anymore. I turned to leave, couldn't take another word. That's when she said it. "You're just mad because someone else finally saw what I'm worth." That was the moment the man I used to be, the husband who would have kept trying to fix it, died. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't even close my eyes. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling fan as it clicked every time it spun. Like a countdown. Click. 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 She never came downstairs. No apology. No explanation. Just silence. And upstairs, probably texting him. Maybe laughing at how I looked when I saw the messages. Or maybe not thinking of me at all. By 5 a.m., I got up and stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. The man looking back had red eyes, a clenched jaw, and hands that wouldn't stop shaking. And in my head, that message repeated itself. Lucky me tonight. You'll have to earn it. She sent that the night before our anniversary. By 7 a.m., I went upstairs to grab my laptop and a change of clothes. I didn't plan on talking to her. I just needed to get out. I didn't want to feel like a stranger in my own damn life. She was asleep. Peaceful. Like nothing happened. I stood there for way too long, staring at her. Thinking about the girl I met in college. Her laugh, the way she'd bring me coffee after class, how she once cried in my arms when I got sick and said she'd never leave. That girl didn't exist anymore. I packed my things. I was almost out the door when her voice broke the silence. You're not even going to talk to me? No panic. No regret. Just irritation, like I was ruining her morning. I turned around. Talk. My voice was hoarse. Like how you talked to Kyle. She scoffed. Oh, come on. It was just flirting. We haven't even done anything serious. That yet wasn't said, but it hung in the air anyway. How long has it been going on? I asked. She shrugged. A couple months. What does it matter? I laughed. Not from humor, from something cracked and bitter inside. You kissed him in front of me, Melissa. In front of people I work with. She sat up in bed. I stayed frozen. Yes, she said. And you just stood there like a statue. That's the problem, David. You never fight for anything. And that's when I realized, she wanted me to snap. To yell. Maybe even to hit something so she could paint me as the bad guy. Instead, I walked over, took off my wedding ring, and placed it on the dresser. Her eyes flicked to it. She didn't move. You're not leaving, she said, almost amused. Where would you even go? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I walked out the front door, got in my car, and just drove. I didn't know where. Just away. I didn't go to work that day. Didn't go to my brother's place either, not yet. I ended up in a cheap motel on the edge of town. One of those places that smells like old air conditioning and regret. I tossed my phone on the bed and just sat there staring at the wall for what felt like hours. She texted me. Can we just talk? You're being dramatic. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready to talk. What would I even say? That I saw everything I needed to see? That I couldn't unsee it? That her face when I caught her said more than any text or video ever could. I stayed in that room, going over every little thing. All the late nights. All the times she flipped her phone upside down when I walked in the room. The I need more space speeches. The gaslighting. The tension that never fully left. I saw all the signs. I just didn't want to believe them. By noon the next day, I went back to the house. Not to talk. Not to cry or fight. I went for proof. And thank God she was out. I moved through the house like a detective with a broken heart. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. No assumptions, no doubts, just facts. Her laptop was still there. Same password she's always used. Melissa wasn't careful. She didn't even bother clearing her browser history. Within minutes, I found a second email. Buried under her Chrome profile, a throwaway Gmail using her middle name and birth year. And there it was. Hundreds of emails. One to Tyler. One to a guy named Alex. Another to someone labeled just C. But what stopped me cold was a long email thread with Brittany, her best friend. The subject line? Vegas plans. Then the line that gutted me. He still thinks I'm going to that design conference. I could disappear for a week and he'd probably just mow the lawn. Tyler's bringing his friend. If he's half as good as the last guy, I'll need a new excuse to come back sore. Vegas was a month ago. I remembered that trip. She had packed 2 suitcases, hugged me goodbye at the airport like she couldn't wait to come back. She even brought me back those corny conference tote bags and mentioned keynote speakers like she'd actually listened to any of them. It was all a story. And I brought her flowers when I picked her up. I stood in the center of our kitchen, just staring at the floor, trying to remember how it used to feel to be proud of loving her. I needed someone to confirm I wasn't crazy. Someone who saw what I saw. So I texted Emily, Tyler's girlfriend. The one who looked like she wanted to crawl out of her own skin when she saw that kiss at the party. She replied in under a minute. Been waiting for this. 30 minutes later, she showed up with a folder in her hand and steel in her eyes. She didn't even sit down. She dropped the folder on the counter and opened it like she was presenting evidence in court. Photos. Screenshots. Messages. Melissa and Tyler. Different locations, different outfits, but the same pattern. Emily had access to an old shared cloud folder. Melissa hadn't even thought to delete it. But then came the real bomb. This started in January, Emily said. But your wife, she wasn't just cheating with Tyler. She flipped the page. There was a photo of Melissa in a hotel bed, holding a wine glass, and a man's hand was clearly in frame. Not Tyler's. She's on every app, Emily said. Even the ones that auto-delete messages. But she's sloppy. I've been tracking this for a while. Honestly, I wanted to see how long it would take you to figure it out. I sat down. Felt like the room tilted under me. Emily laid down the final picture. The one that ripped whatever was left of me apart. Melissa. On our bed. With Tyler. While I was out of town for work. Her caption? He has no idea. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't even speak. I just nodded. Something in me clicked. Some final switch flipped. That night, I parked outside the house around midnight. I didn't go in right away. Just stared at the porch light, the one she always left on for me. That night it felt like a punchline. I walked in. She was sitting on the couch, wine in hand, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't completely destroyed me less than 48 hours ago. She barely looked up. Wow, she said. So you came back? Not where were you? Not are you okay? Just that. Like I was an inconvenience. I didn't speak. Just set the folder down on the coffee table and stepped back. She looked at it, then up at me. What is this? Take a look, I said. She opened it. Her face stayed neutral for the first few pages. Then her fingers started twitching. Then she stopped flipping pages altogether. This is insane, she finally muttered. You were going through my stuff? That was her angle. Not denial. Not regret. Just anger at being exposed. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so her. You know what's insane? I said. Letting another man touch you in my bed, taking pictures of it, then acting like I'm the problem for finding out. You're twisting this. No. You twisted everything. Every time I asked a question, every time something felt wrong, you acted like I was paranoid. She stood, wine glass still in hand, voice shaking now. You never gave me what I needed, David. What you needed? I echoed. You needed Tyler? You needed random guys in Vegas? You needed Brittany's boyfriend too? Yeah, I saw his name in there. She blanched. Jaw clenched. I just wanted to feel alive again. No, I said. You wanted attention. You wanted to be adored. And when marriage got too real, too quiet, you lit a match and smiled while it all burned. She slapped the folder off the table. Papers scattered everywhere like ashes. And still, she had the nerve to look at me with disgust. You think this makes you some kind of hero? You think people are going to pity you? I don't want pity, I said, reaching into my pocket. I pulled out a single sheet of paper. My signed separation agreement. Her eyes went wide like I'd drawn a weapon. You're serious? I'm not staying with someone who gets off on humiliating me, I said. This marriage ended the moment you looked me in the eye and decided I wasn't worth honesty. She opened her mouth. Closed it again. Then did what she always did when the mask cracked. She laughed. That sharp, bitter laugh she used when she wanted to seem unbothered. Like nothing ever touched her. Like none of it mattered. I didn't flinch. I walked upstairs, grabbed the rest of my things, and left. The door closed behind me like a coffin lid. And I didn't look back. I didn't go home after that. Not once. That night, I slept in my car, parked in the back lot of a gas station on the far side of town. It was cold, uncomfortable, and exactly what I needed. A raw reset. No pillow, no blanket, just me, my breath fogging up the window, and the hum of the highway in the distance. For the first time in months, it was quiet. Unnervingly quiet, but clean. By sunrise, I knew what I had to do. I called my brother Josh. We hadn't been close for a while. Not since Melissa had started subtly isolating me from the people who saw through her. She always found ways to make me feel like being around my family was draining or immature. I'd stopped seeing them without even realizing it. But when Josh picked up, there was no hesitation. "Come over," he said. "Stay as long as you need." He was already standing in the doorway when I pulled up. Didn't even let me knock. Just pulled me into a hug and handed me a spare key like we'd never lost time. That weekend, I barely moved. Didn't shower. Lived on leftover takeout and lukewarm coffee. I stared at the ceiling and tried to make sense of everything I had just lived through. I felt hollow. Like I was watching myself from a distance. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those messages again. That photo on our bed. The look on her face when she realized I knew everything. But slowly, the fog started to lift. Melissa wasn't some tragic mistake. She was a warning. A walking red flag that I had painted over with excuses and wishful thinking. I convinced myself she was just fiery. Complex. Passionate. The truth? She was selfish. She was cruel. And I had let her make me feel like I was the one who had to change. By Monday, her messages started rolling in again. "You made your point. Are we really doing this? You embarrassed me with that folder stunt like you're in some dramatic movie. Let's be adults. I'll agree to therapy if that's what you need." I didn't reply. Not out of spite. Just clarity. Her tone was too calm, too polished. Like she was trying to reset the game. It was manipulation, not remorse. By Wednesday, the mask started slipping. "Fine. Then I want half. You're not walking out of this like you're the only victim." And that's when I knew she was scared. Not scared of losing me. That ship had sunk long ago. She was afraid of losing control. Of losing the narrative. She couldn't stand the idea of me leaving on my terms. Of me choosing peace over chaos. That night, I got the call that made my stomach drop. It was Emily. "You need to know," she said. "Melissa's telling people you abused her." I went cold. "What?" "She's been spinning it to anyone who will listen. Says you were emotionally unstable. That you smothered her. That she was scared of you." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My throat closed up. I had spent 6 years with this woman, trusted her, protected her, built a life around her, and now she was rewriting the entire story like I was the villain. It wasn't enough to betray me. Now she wanted to erase me. I called my lawyer the next morning. He'd helped me file the separation paperwork, but now I needed him in defense mode. I sent over the folder, the texts, the photos, the emails, the timestamps. Everything. Emily sent her files too, dated screenshots, voice notes Melissa had accidentally left in shared chats, even a video from the rooftop party where Melissa joked about training me to shut up. After reviewing everything, the lawyer's voice changed. It was calm, but firm. "She has no ground to stand on legally. But if she tries this in public, we'll counter with defamation. You have more than enough." That should have comforted me. But it didn't. Because this wasn't just about court. It wasn't about money. It was about the terrifying realization of how far someone you love can twist the truth. Not just behind your back, but to your face. It was psychological warfare. She wasn't just cheating. She was trying to destroy who I was to feel better about who she had become. So I did what she never expected. I got quiet. I didn't argue. Didn't defend myself. Didn't post anything on social media. I just started preparing. I pulled every bank statement, every shared document, Every line of text from our history. I made backups, created witness lists, and archived everything. I didn't want revenge. I wanted armor. Because this wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was war. And I wasn't the guy she once humiliated at a party. I was the man who finally saw her clearly. 2 days later, Melissa showed up at Josh's house. I was in the garage, boxing up the last few things I'd brought over from the old place, mostly junk and forgotten clothes. I heard her voice before I saw her. That fake cheerful tone she used when she wanted something. Josh was already outside, standing between her and the stairs. "He doesn't want to see you," I heard him say. Melissa scoffed. "Loud enough for the whole neighborhood. So he's just hiding now? You're really letting him sulk at your place like some moody teenager? He's a grown man, Josh." He didn't budge. "You humiliated him," he said. "You broke him. This isn't a tantrum. This is survival." That's when I stepped out. She turned to me fast, pulled her sunglasses off and gave me that same calculated smile she used to use when she wanted to start fresh. Like we just had a little lover's quarrel and all she needed was 5 minutes to smooth it over. "There you are," she said, like I was the one who'd disappeared. "Can we talk? Alone?" I didn't move. She took a step toward me like she was going to reach for my hand. Josh tensed up beside me. She noticed and froze. "You're making this ugly," she said. I finally spoke. "I didn't make this ugly, Melissa. You did. The second you brought another man into our bed, you made this a mess. I'm just cleaning it up." She actually rolled her eyes. "You're still stuck on that," she snapped. "It was months ago. You're acting like I murdered someone." "No," I said calmly. "You didn't kill someone. You just killed something. You just haven't realized it yet." For a moment, something broke in her face. A flicker of rage. A twitch in the jaw. She stepped back and spat out her final threat. "Fine. If you want to play hardball, let's play. I'll get my lawyer. I'll take what's mine. I'll make this loud." She turned to leave, then muttered under her breath just loud enough for me to hear. "People are already wondering if I ever really loved you." I didn't react. Just watched her car pull away, tires kicking up dust. Josh looked at me, waiting for a cue to chase after her. I shook my head. "Let her talk," I said. "Because this time, the truth is on my side." Later that night, I sat in my lawyer's office and told him everything, about Melissa showing up, the threats, the public performance in Josh's driveway. He just nodded. Didn't look surprised at all. "She's unraveling," he said. "People like her don't just fear consequences. They fear losing control of the story." That hit me. This wasn't about love or even guilt. It was about narrative. She needed to be the victim. And now that I wasn't playing the role of the desperate husband, she didn't know what to do. "What's my next step?" I asked. "We finish the separation. Freeze the accounts. File a no-contact clause," he said. "And if she keeps spreading lies, we use everything. You stay calm. She escalates, she builds your case for you." That night, I didn't go back to Josh's. I drove to a quiet lot by the lake. Just sat there in the dark, windows down, listening to the water slap against the rocks. I thought about how long I'd been drowning in her tide, mistaking the undertow for love. I lit a cigarette. I don't even smoke. But in that moment, it felt like the right kind of burn, like torching 6 years of illusions down to a glowing ember. Somewhere out there, Melissa was probably in our old house, on the same couch she'd sat on when I gave her the folder, texting someone new, spinning a new version of the story. One where she was the betrayed. One where I was unstable, dramatic, cold. But here's the thing, I didn't care anymore. She had already lost the only thing that ever gave her power over me, me. The silence got to her first. I didn't block her. But I never replied either. I let every message sit on read. Every call rang into nothing. And that drove her crazy. Melissa thrived on attention. She needed a reaction like oxygen. Without it, she spiraled. At first, she played the guilt card. "I know I messed up. But you can't erase everything we had. I still wear your hoodies sometimes. That has to mean something, right? Don't throw us away over one mistake." One mistake. I screenshotted it. Added it to the folder. Then came the shift. The anger. You've always been fragile. This is just proving it. Good luck finding someone who'll put up with your whining. You act like you were some perfect husband. You weren't. Still, I said nothing. I had more important things to do. I moved into a short-term lease. Nothing fancy, just a clean apartment with no ghosts. I opened a new bank account. Changed every password. Got a new phone number. Transferred the car title. Closed the joint credit cards. It wasn't just about moving out. It was about stripping away every layer of her influence. Every lingering thread of control. And it wasn't easy. Some days I caught myself reaching for my old phone, checking if she texted, even though I knew it would only hurt. But then I'd go to the gym. Not to get revenge hot, or whatever people say. I just needed to move. To sweat. To feel like my body still belonged to me. And after a while, the fog started to lift. People noticed. Emily checked in often. Josh never let me disappear into the silence. Even co-workers started opening up, saying they'd always felt something was off about her. Apparently, I wasn't crazy. I just loved someone who made me feel like I was. Then, 2 weeks later, it happened. The message that should have broken me, but didn't. Melissa, 2:13 a.m. I miss you. Tyler was a mistake. He doesn't understand me like you did. I made it worse trying to make myself feel something. But you were always there. You always loved me. I don't deserve it, but if you walk through that door right now, I swear I'll change. 6 months ago, that would have shattered me. Instead, I read it once. Archived the thread. Because she didn't miss me. She missed the version of herself that existed when I was around. She missed being adored, forgiven, centered. She missed the mirror. And now that I wasn't there to reflect her, she was grabbing at shadows. The next day, I got word that Tyler had blocked her. Emily sent me a text. She's spiraling. Told someone you abused her. Told someone else you're the love of her life, in the same hour. I didn't answer. Just stared at my phone, blank and steady. Because here's the truth no one tells you about healing. It's not loud. It doesn't come with some big movie moment. No dramatic monologue. No fireworks. It's quiet. It's peace. It's the first time you forget to check their social media. It's waking up in a bed that smells like detergent, not her perfume. It's not explaining yourself anymore. Not wondering where they are or who they're with. It's realizing you haven't thought about them all day, and it doesn't scare you. It's understanding fully and finally that you were never the villain. You were just someone who stayed too long in someone else's delusion. It had been nearly a month of silence when Melissa showed up again, this time at my job. I was walking out of the office, coffee in one hand, keys in the other, heading toward my car in the lot. And there she was. Leaned casually against the hood of my car like she had every right to be there, like we were just old friends bumping into each other. "Hey stranger," she said, like she hadn't tried to blow up my life. I didn't stop walking. She moved to block the driver's door, still wearing that little smirk like she was about to deliver some life-changing confession. "You stalking me now?" I asked, keeping my voice flat. "I just wanted to see you," she said. "I heard the papers went through." I stared at her. She bit her lip, eyes scanning my face like she was trying to read something that wasn't there anymore. "I've been thinking a lot about us. About what I threw away. I was stupid. I was selfish," she said. "But you gave up too fast." And I laughed. "Too fast?" I said. "Melissa, you had another man in our bed before I even packed a bag." She flinched, barely. Then tried again, softer this time. I was lost. "No," I said, stepping closer. "You weren't lost. You were entertained. You liked watching people get hurt for you. You made destruction feel like affection. And when I stopped bleeding for you, you got bored." That hit. I saw it in the way her face tensed. "So that's it," she snapped. "You're just done with me?" "I was done the moment you looked me in the eye after kissing Tyler and smiled." There was a pause. A quiet so heavy it felt like the air froze. And then she dropped it. "I'm pregnant," she said. Just like that. No lead up. No emotion. Just a hand grenade lobbed into the conversation, waiting to see if I'd catch it. I didn't blink. "Tell Tyler," I said. Her eyes flicked, widened, faltered. "He blocked me," she whispered. "Figures. You're really not going to ask if it's yours," she pushed. "I don't need to," I said calmly. "Because even if it was, I still wouldn't come back." Her face twisted, the fake sweetness draining fast. "You think you're some kind of hero," she spat. "You're pathetic, David. You always were." "No," I said as I unlocked my car. "I was patient. And you mistook that for weakness." I got in and drove off without another word. Didn't look back. And you know what? It didn't hurt. Not even a little. That was the last time I saw her in person. 30 days passed. A full month without her voice, without her perfume clinging to my clothes, without the psychological warfare she waged every time she wanted something. It was like detox. I went through every stage: the panic, the rage, the sadness, the nostalgia. The nights where I almost caved and checked her socials. The mornings where I felt like I was forgetting something. But every day I stayed clean, the truth got louder. She hadn't destroyed me. She just exposed how much of myself I had already given up trying to make her happy. And then one evening, sitting on the floor of my half-furnished apartment with nothing but a mattress, a coffee table, and a tired old couch, I got the message that buried the last ghost of her. "Hope you're happy. You ruined my life." No name. No context. Just that. And I swear to God, I smiled. Because in her eyes, I had ruined the version of life where she got to lie and still win. Where I played the loyal fool, the silent one, the guy who kept forgiving while she kept feeding herself to strangers behind my back. That world was over. The next day, I got coffee with Emily. We hadn't spoken in a while, both of us exhausted by the wreckage our exes left behind. But it felt good. Safe. Like talking to someone who survived the same fire. We didn't mention Melissa or Tyler much. Didn't have to. We talked about rebuilding. Peace. What it felt like to not have to prove you weren't crazy anymore. Toward the end of the conversation, Emily looked at me and said, "You know she's still talking, right? Still spinning the story like she was the one who got hurt." I nodded. "You're not going to defend yourself?" "No," I said. "Because people like her? They always reveal themselves. All I have to do is stay quiet. She'll do the rest." Emily smiled. "That's exactly what Tyler said before he dumped her." I raised an eyebrow. "Yes," she said. "Turns out she wasn't just cheating on you. She was cheating on Tyler, too. With some guy named Aaron. And someone else named Chris. When Tyler confronted her, she said she was experimenting with self-love." I laughed. For real this time. Melissa had become a collapsing structure, kicking out her own foundation, one lie at a time. And every new man she tried to use as a mirror just cracked under the weight of her performance. No Tyler. No backup plan. No safety net. And no me. She was exactly where she never thought she'd be. Alone. Life didn't get magically perfect after Melissa. But it got quiet. And that quiet? It was gold. I started running. Not for some cinematic revenge body transformation, just to feel the rhythm of my own breath again. To remind myself I existed outside of her chaos. I started cooking again, something I hadn't done in years. Not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. The way I used to, back when life had flavor. Work got better too. Way better. My head was clearer. I wasn't carrying invisible weight around anymore. I got promoted. My boss even joked that I was finally showing up. Truth was, I'd been showing up for someone else for too long. And now, I was finally showing up for me. I went on a few dates. Nothing serious. Just peaceful. Conversations without games, dinners without tension, laughter that didn't feel like a setup. And the most beautiful part? I wasn't waiting to be betrayed. I wasn't waiting for the curtain to fall. I was just present. Melissa kept spiraling. I heard about it through mutuals. She was still out there, still posting cryptic quotes about heartbreak and healing from narcissists, still playing the victim to anyone who would listen. One day it was they always come back, but I won't be waiting. The next it was some mistakes or blessings in disguise. Apparently, she started dating again. Some guy named Max. Or maybe it was Leo. Didn't matter. There'd be another after that. Same script, different face. She doesn't love people. She loves the way she looks when people love her. And when that reflection fades, she just finds another mirror. I got one final message from her. It came about a month ago, before I changed my number for good. I'm sorry. I know you hate me. I just wanted to say thank you for loving me when I didn't deserve it. I didn't respond. Not because I hated her. Not even out of pride. But because I was finally at peace. Real peace. The kind of peace that lives in silence. The kind that doesn't need an apology. The kind that knows closure doesn't come from the person who broke you, it comes from the person you become after. She didn't ruin me. She revealed me. She peeled back all the parts of me I'd buried to keep her happy. The boundaries I'd erased. The standards I'd lowered. The self-worth I handed over piece by piece, just to keep the noise down. But once she burned the bridge, I finally saw what was on the other side. I let go of the lie that love means enduring everything. It doesn't. Real love doesn't come with humiliation. It doesn't leave you gasping for clarity or begging for honesty. Real love doesn't require you to be blind. Melissa taught me what fake love looks like. And that lesson? That's my armor now. So if you're reading this, if you're sitting in that fog of doubt, wondering if you're imagining things, if you're crazy, if you're too sensitive, let me tell you something. You already know. That knot in your gut? It's not anxiety. It's truth. And if you keep giving chance after chance, and all you get back is blame, silence, and that smug little smile that says you're the problem, leave. Leave loudly if you need to. Leave quietly if it's safer. But leave. Because your peace is worth more than their potential. And you? You don't need to be anybody's mirror. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to be loved, for real. And me? I'm not angry anymore. I'm not broken. I'm just done. And that's more than enough.